Hi everyone, it's Shania and welcome to my YouTube channel. So as seen from the title of this video, today I'll be giving you a continuation of my self-care tips that I initially released last year. Basically this past year my ideas of self-care have slightly changed, and I wanted to share these with you guys just in case it might be useful for someone, or if you're interested in how my journey has kind of changed from then until now. Last year's tips included staying hydrated, forgiving yourself and others, eating well and working out, as well as setting up healthy boundaries and doing what it is that you love. Those tips still stand. However, I've extended my list a bit, and in addition to those tips, I think that it's important to release stresses in your life. That's the first step. We all have different stresses in our life, and these could look like social media, technology, the news, unwanted relationships, work or school, whatsoever. And these kind of inhibit us from living in our true purpose and following our passions. And I think it is important to be aware of these, what your triggers are and what stresses you out, and try to either work with it or minimize the pressure that comes with those stresses, or to completely cut them off as a way to keep yourself sane, basically. And I do recognize that not everybody has the luxury of just cutting off like important responsibilities like work or school. However, we could try to work with other things that are easier to manage, like I mentioned, technology or social media, or whatever it is that stresses you out, like watching less news and other tragic things out there in the world. Like, still be aware of everything, but kind of minimize the information we consume as well. So yeah, that would be the first one, reducing your stresses. This then leads to my second point, which is getting rid of your self-destructive habits and avoiding self-sabotage. Self-sabotage can look like a range of things. It could be failure to own up to what you're doing wrong, like not taking accountability for your wrongdoing, or it could be the inability to set up boundaries. It could be jumping from one toxic relationship to another. It could be a range of things. What I've come to notice is with negativity, it usually tends to overshadow the positive aspects in our life. I feel like it's so easy to focus on what is not going well rather than to focus on the good and positivity. So if we allow for our toxic patterns and behaviors to overpower the good that we do, it makes it almost impossible for us to reach our highest possible good or attain and connect with our higher selves. Ways of avoiding the self-sabotage or to shift away from self-destructive patterns could be sitting down and actually reflecting on what your toxic behaviors are or what your destructive patterns are. And this is the hardest part of the exercise, but once you get to come to terms with what it is that is destructive and unproductive in your life, it becomes easier for you to talk about it. It becomes easier for you to come up with solutions to move past those patterns, and it makes it easy for you to deal with failures and rejection, and it just it alleviates a lot of stress and pressure on you. So attempt to let go of self-sabotage, if you get what I mean. Third point is finding a balance between your social life and alone time. And this, I think, a lot of empaths and introverts would relate to. I tend to feel bad when I want time to myself. Like I usually guilt trip myself whenever I feel depleted and I just want to like lock myself away from society and just do me. But I've been trying to remind myself that this is actually normal and it's like needed for your mental health as well, and just your peace of mind at times. Striking a balance between going out and being with people and just having some time to yourself to reflect and evaluate what it is you want to do or what it is that you want in your life is very important. I'd advise that you try not to overstimulate yourself with like events and activities like at school or whatever social functions, but look out for functions that actually get you pumped and excited and energized and you'd look forward to. And put out some time like weekly to see your family and friends and interact with other people, and ensure that you're not only interacting with others while you're bored. Like put in actual effort to see people, just so you can maintain healthy relationships and you can show the people around you that you actually appreciate and want to spend time with them. And while you're doing your alone time thing, I'd advise that you actually spend time doing something you enjoy instead of like just being idle and not doing much. Maybe go for a run, go paint, go have some wine, or with a friend. Like sometimes one-on-one interactions would be better, or just relax, read a book, do whatever it is that strikes your fancy. My fourth tip would be learning how to say no. I think this is a way challenging. Like for the longest time, I've always struggled with saying no. I've come to learn that saying no is actually a skill that needs perfecting. And I think my issues with saying no stem from like my childhood and always wanting to be accepted by my peers. So I've always been the friend that'd be down to do whatever. So like basically if my friend would jump off a cliff and she was like, let's do it, I'll probably do it. Like that's how down I was to do whatever. I was like in a people pleasing mode. But eventually I got tired of that, and that was like a blessing, if I may say, because once I stopped saying yes to everything and just everyone, I got more time for myself to do things that I actually enjoy. I got to keep myself safe and healthy, in a good place, in the right state of mind. And yeah, I've also noticed that like the issue with saying no is not really as uncommon as I thought it was. A lot of people do have those tendencies to prioritize others' wants over their needs. So if you're that person, that is so sweet of you, but just learn how to say no for you, mamas or papas, and yeah, keep yourself sane and do what it is that you like. Don't forget that it's about you. It's mainly about you at the end of the day. So say no. Learn how to say no. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you less of a good friend. It just means that you can set up healthy boundaries. And, you can set up healthy boundaries with family and loved ones and your peers. And lastly, my last tip would be, oh yeah, therapy. Therapy, we all need therapy. Oh my God, I need therapy, you need therapy, your neighbor needs therapy, your therapist needs therapy, we all need therapy. And there's this common misconception that only crazy people or like people who are at the lowest points need therapy. But I think generally we all kind of need therapy to become the best versions of ourselves and to see life from a different viewpoint, to hear a different perspective on like our issues, and like on a more deeper and specific level. It could be for issues with grief. It could be for mental health issues. It could be for relationship issues and so much more. It's always nice to have somebody hear you out and kind of help you, like I said, see things from a different standpoint. And of course, we could do this with friends and family members, but I personally don't like to overburden other people with my issues, because I feel like we all have our problems as well. So like it's kind of healthy to have like a professional person that you could rely on and talk to in a confidential atmosphere and just get the help that you need. So if you're thinking about going for therapy, like highly consider it, and it might just do you so much good, more good than you'd ever imagine. And if you're not really into that therapy vibe and you want like an alternative, you could always try self-therapy, or you could try other forms of therapy like working out, doing yoga, art therapy, meditation, and all these other activities that help you get to a calmer state of mind and helps you release whatever energies it is that you need to release. But it is important to recognize that these are not necessarily substitutes for therapy, like actual therapy, but it could be complementary to your therapy sessions. And that's about it. And finally, on a different note now, I'd like to say that for my next couple of videos, I plan on talking about the chakras and how our awareness of our chakras actually help with our self-growth, self-care, and self-discovery. I started working and learning more about my chakras in 2020, and from that time I got to grow a lot. Like I got to be way more self-aware and got to learn how to take care of my body and my needs and how to channel my energy for good. I plan on talking about the chakras, giving an intro to each of the chakra from the root up to the crown, talking about what a blocked chakra looks like and how you can open it up and how to balance your chakras. So if you have any specific questions, please feel free to comment down below, or you could send me a direct message to any of my social medias that I listed in the description box. And if you have any other questions about self-care as well, or any tips or comments, criticisms, anything, just feel free to share that with me, and we could start a conversation about it. So yeah, that's about it. Just a little short clip on self-care and how my journey has kind of evolved from then to now. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.